Hello, I'm Buck Paulson of the Painting with Paulson show as seen on Prairie Public Television. You be sure and watch because we give you a lot of great ideas. Today we have another idea. This is actually from one of the shows, Stage 1, or the monochrome, that's one color from light to dark, of the shows, Afternoon Power. Okay, now I wanted to say several things about this. I have used a very limited palette, which is ultramarine blue up to pale yellow and white. So in other words, probably the true monochrome would be from blue up to white. Not necessarily so, but I've made it just a little off-white with the yellow so that it has some warmth and some power. I wanted to point out several things about this. First, the different values. You can see we have a lightest value, which will be in various places. And then we have a middle tone, middle value, which is on the sky and on the foam. And then the dark value, which is in the wave, the mountains, and so on. There may be actually 4 values, so that we talk about the darks on the cliff. They're not quite as dark as this. So it's probably 4 values. Okay, now when you're setting up something like that, you decide upon where do I put the things? Well, right away, I want to have a center of interest. Anything that's moving is going to feel like it has interest if you make it move. We have a strong source of the light, and then I'll use a measuring stick on the side of the canvas, come straight down the canvas, and then I have the power, the straight line. One time I painted a sunset and I had a little figure over here and I had the sun go towards him. Wrong. Light travels towards the viewer. Because when I went down to the beach, I was in the sun all the time. So this guy, I thought, oh, now he's not in the sun. But you can't do that. Light travels in a straight line. All right, now the composition, the flow through the canvas, you can see the cloud movement this way, which is nice. It's just the opposite direction of the big wave coming in. That's a real nice splash and a nice wave. And then you have the little supernumeraries that come in advance of our diva. And then you have a feeling, what's going to help get through this painting, through this composition? How are you going to lead the eye? Well, you see this first, you come down, you splash up. Then the strong contrast over here, the cliff against light on the adjoining cliff. That attracts you, and then you come back around here. These darks on this side do their part in pointing where to go. Now, when we put light on, the light's coming from above here. It could come from another direction. We've chosen from here. That means the top of this is lit. And here's another top, here's another top. These are all tops of waves that are in the same direction, and they receive the highlight. And of course, down in the water, we put the feeling of moving foam patterns up there. We can't go up high with them because the sun wouldn't hit them. They're being shaded. We have a very strong, what we call the eye of the wave there. And it's strong in this stage. When I put color on, I would glaze across a little bit just to make it subdued just slightly, and then maybe wipe where the lightest light comes. There's not a lot of blending in this at this stage because it was put on with acrylics. Now, if I'd put it on with oils, and I wanted to leave it this stage, I would have blended this more so at the bottom while I'm doing it. But now it has total energy, and it has the right feeling of bulk, movement, and the values are good. So I hope this makes sense to you. It's a great way to start. When you do a monochrome, you could use any colors you want. If you wanted to do a landscape and you're using green and white, or you could use browns, Many of the old masters would use the browns, but I like something that's going to work for me. I want to point out one other thing. This canvas was primed. That means it was white, and I put a tone over it. You can see it through here and there, which is 6 white, 1 permanent green light, and 1 Payne's gray. That was over the whole canvas, and then the drawing was placed on. And you can see how much use I make of that under priming, where it is not totally covered. Now, when I put paint on top, you feel the effects of that. You might even wipe and let some of it come through it. It helps colors. The way I like to paint is color over color, the underneath being dry, so that you get that feeling of quality, the vibration of colors. So I hope that's helpful to you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This program is funded by the North Dakota Council on the Arts, the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.